Betrayal doesn't come with a warning. They don't warn you before they betray you. That's what makes it hurt so deeply. The handshake, the smile, the "I've got your back" moments, all part of the performance. You don't see it coming because you don't want to. We assume loyalty from the people we let closest, and that assumption is where the blade slides in. In reality, most betrayals aren't born from hate. They're born from opportunity. The moment you look vulnerable, the moment they sense you're unguarded, they strike, not because you are weak, but because you look weak. That's the harsh truth. In this world, appearances are everything. You could be fighting the darkest battle of your life internally, but if you show it, if you bleed in front of the wrong eyes, you become a target. People don't destroy you because they know you. They destroy the version of you they think they can defeat. That's why Machiavelli didn't teach survival through strength. He taught survival through perception. He knew the world doesn't care how much you're hurting, it only cares how strong you appear. So protect your image like armor. Hide your pain behind stillness. Let your silence confuse them. If they believe you're unshakable, they'll hesitate, and hesitation is power. This isn't about being fake. It's about understanding the battlefield. In a world full of wolves, your survival depends not on how you feel, but on how you look when you're bleeding. Be the storm they don't see coming. Be the presence they don't dare to test. Because in the end, it's not betrayal that breaks you. It's being unprepared for it. Perception is deadlier than reality. In a world driven by optics, it's not your truth that shapes your fate. It's what people believe about you. Reality is silent, but perception speaks volumes. You could be calm, capable, and composed on the inside, but if you appear broken, uncertain, or lost, that's all the world you ever see. And once they see weakness, they won't ask questions. They'll attack. Machiavelli understood this long before psychology gave it language. People don't dig for truth. They settle for what looks true. So if you want power, don't fix your wounds, fix your image. You don't need to be invincible. You need to look untouchable. Strength isn't always about what you can endure. Sometimes it's about what you make others believe you can survive without flinching. Craft the illusion before the truth gets used against you. If you're struggling, appear calm. If you're doubted, act with certainty. Let the world believe you are beyond reach, even when you're breaking inside. Because perception isn't a mirror, it's a weapon. And if you don't control it, someone else will use it to define you, diminish you, and destroy you. Silence is strategic power. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. True power moves in silence. It watches, it waits, it calculates. In a world where people overshare their pain, their opinions, and their plans, silence becomes the most terrifying language. Because when you don't speak, no one knows what you're thinking, and what people can't read, they can't control. Machiavelli knew that unpredictability was a weapon. The more you reveal, the more ammunition you hand to your enemies. But when you hold your tongue, when you move without warning, you become something far more dangerous. A mystery. Emotional outbursts, public complaints, and constant self-expression are not signs of strength. They're signs of exposure. You never see the lion preparing to pounce. It just strikes. That's how silence works. It unsettles. It leaves room for fear, for doubt, for imagination. And imagination is often more powerful than truth. Don't cry where they can see. Don't beg where they can record. Suffer in silence. Heal in silence. Rise in silence. Because silence doesn't mean weakness. It means control. It means you're not reacting, you're responding. And when you do respond, it will be felt. Deeply. Permanently. In a world addicted to noise, your silence becomes your shield and your sword. Detach emotion from decision-making. Emotion is the easiest trap to fall into and the hardest to escape. It clouds your vision, hijacks your judgment, and makes you reactive instead of strategic. The world wants you to feel everything so you can be manipulated. But if you want to rise above it, you must learn to separate your feelings from your moves. Ask yourself not, how do I feel, but what does this achieve? That question changes everything. Emotionally impulsive people regret more than they win. They lash out, apologize, and repeat the cycle, never realizing they're being played, not you. You're here to move with precision, not passion. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be respected. Respect doesn't come from being agreeable. It comes from being effective. Machiavelli said it best. It's better to be feared than loved, if you can't be both. When they fear disappointing you, they obey. But when they love you too much, they use you. Emotion may feel human, but clarity, control, and detachment are power. You're not suppressing your emotions. You're commanding them. Feel everything, but act on nothing unless it serves your purpose. That's not coldness, that's evolution. Control how people see you. You don't owe the world your truth. You owe yourself the advantage. In a society obsessed with appearances, the one who controls perception controls power. Most people live in reaction, constantly defending who they are, explaining their intentions, seeking sympathy. That's weakness. Your image should not be an accident. It should be a weapon. Let them see only what serves you. If you want to be respected, appear cold and competent. If you want to be feared, let your silence feel like a threat. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you truly are." That's not deception, it's strategy. You must become a master of optics. Your presence should feel calculated. Your body language, your tone, your silence, they all send signals. Choose them with intention. When people can't read you, they can't control you. When they are unsure of what you'll do next, they hesitate. And in hesitation, you win. Don't let them map your patterns. Don't give them the full picture. Let them guess. Let them whisper. Because the moment they feel certain about who you are, they begin planning how to break you. But if they can't see your core, they can't touch your power. Limit access, control influence. Access is power, but only when you're the one controlling it. The more people can reach you, the more they study you. They learn your habits, your reactions, your weaknesses. And once they know your patterns, they can predict you, and what can be predicted can be controlled. If you want to remain untouchable, you must become selectively available. Be friendly but distant, present but hard to pin down. Let them feel your presence but rarely your vulnerability. Don't confuse openness with strength. The more you share, the more you surrender. The most dangerous people are not loud. They're quiet, watching, and deciding who deserves proximity. Your life is not public property. It's a fortress, and not everyone should have the key. Let people earn access with loyalty, respect, and consistency. Anything less is a threat. People chase what they can't easily have. Mystery breeds respect. Scarcity builds value. When you're everywhere, you're taken for granted. When you're rare, you're revered. The untouchable are never overexposed. They're talked about, not leaned on. So protect your energy, guard your time, and limit who gets close. Because once someone's too close, they can wound you in ways a stranger never could. Loyalty is conditional. Leverage is power. Loyalty sounds noble until you realize how easily it disappears when your value fades. People don't stay loyal to you. They stay loyal to what you offer them. Status, protection, opportunity, validation. When those benefits vanish, so does their allegiance. That's not betrayal, it's reality. And Machiavelli never trusted loyalty, he trusted leverage. If someone respects you only because they like you, that bond is fragile. But if they respect you because they need you, or fear the consequences of crossing you, they'll remain loyal even if they can't stand you. That's not manipulation. That's strategic stability. You must build relationships rooted in necessity, not sentiment. You don't control people by being loved. You control them by being irreplaceable or dangerous. Don't build your power on emotional ties. Build it on leverage. Give just enough to keep people dependent. Never enough to become dependent yourself. The person who can walk away always holds the upper hand. Emotional attachment blinds you. Leverage clarifies everything. If loyalty becomes your weakness, you'll be controlled by those who pretend to honor it until it no longer suits them. Loyalty is not protection. Power is. Maintain the upper hand. Power is not about dominating others loudly. It's about silently keeping control. The one who holds the rope decides who climbs and who falls. Never forget that. You must always position yourself where walking away is an option, not a threat. Because the person who can walk away without fear is the one who controls the relationship. Don't give so much of yourself that you become dependent on others' approval, attention, or assistance. If someone does you a favor, repay them with strength, not weakness. Never beg, never owe too much, never let anyone believe they own your next move. Keep your value visible and your dependence invisible. People respect those who don't need them, and they fear those who can thrive without them. Let others build emotional attachments. You build strategic positioning. They may love you today, but if you have no leverage tomorrow, their loyalty will vanish with their interest. Machiavelli understood that power isn't maintained by force alone. It's maintained by positioning. Be the one holding the key, not the one waiting at the door. Never give up the upper hand, because once you do, you'll find yourself negotiating from the ground, where mercy is rare and weakness is punished. Emotional attachment is a strategic risk. Love isn't the enemy, but blind attachment is. The moment your emotions control your judgment, you've already surrendered the advantage. You can care. You can even love deeply. But the moment you lose yourself in that emotion, you become predictable, vulnerable, and easy to manipulate. Machiavelli didn't say don't love. He said don't let love blind you. Your enemies won't always come wearing frowns. They'll smile. They'll stand beside you. They'll wait patiently for your guard to drop. That's why the most dangerous threats often come disguised as friends. Emotional bonds, when left unchecked, become liabilities. They blur lines, soften boundaries, and distort consequences. The untouchable don't build friendships. They build alliances. Relationships built on shared ambition and mutual benefit outlast those built on emotional dependency. Prepare yourself for the fact that even the closest connection can be broken by jealousy, insecurity, or ambition. Don't deny it, anticipate it, love with awareness, trust with caution, and never assume permanence in a world driven by personal interest. If you protect your heart more than your position, you'll bleed loyalty in a war that only rewards leverage. Stay strategic, stay observant, because even affection can be used as a weapon, and often is. Strike without warning, eliminate threats. Entirely half measures are invitations for revenge. In a world where betrayal is common and weakness is exploited, you don't win by reacting emotionally, you win by ending threats completely. When the time comes to move, don't hesitate, don't announce, don't give warnings, end it, quietly, surgically, permanently. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must know how to be both beast and man. The beast strikes without hesitation. The man calculates where and when. Together they create a force that dominates. Your enemies must never see the blow coming. They must feel it when it's too late to stop it. Don't seek revenge to feel better. That's emotion. Seek resolution to secure your position. That's strategy. If they lie about you, make the truth louder and ruinous for them. If they try to steal from you, take what they value most. Make it so they can never recover, so they never try again. This isn't cruelty, it's self-preservation. The untouchable don't give second chances to snakes. They cut off the head and move on without flinching. Because in the game of power, unfinished threats always return stronger, and the cost of mercy is often paid in blood. Appear calm while planning chaos. True strength is not shown in rage, it's revealed in restraint. The most dangerous person in the room isn't the one shouting. It's the one who smiles while calculating you at your end. Appear calm, appear composed, even when you're planning something that will shake the ground beneath them. Because when you show no reaction, they begin to doubt their power, and that doubt is your weapon. Machiavelli understood that the most effective strike is not one born from emotion, but from quiet observation and calculated timing. Don't let betrayal provoke you into a display of weakness. Don't show them you're angry. Let them think they didn't affect you. Because silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates fear. Your revenge, your comeback, your response must never be loud. It must be clean, cold, precise. Let the world think you've forgotten while you set the board. Then, when you move, do so with finality. No explanation, no drama, just results. This isn't about cruelty, it's about control. Because if they see that their actions rattled you, they'll try again. But if they strike and you remain still, while their world quietly collapses, they'll never forget what silence truly sounds like. The sound of unstoppable power, master influence from the shadows. Power is safest when it's invisible. The most dangerous person in any room isn't the one giving commands. It's the one shaping decisions without ever being seen. Machiavelli knew that once people recognize your control, they begin planning how to take it. But when you move from the shadows, they don't know where to aim. That's how true influence works. Subtle, silent, and impossible to track. Let others fight for credit, applause, and attention. Let them stand in the spotlight, burning under the weight of visibility. You operate in silence. You guide conversations without owning them. You shape outcomes without taking the stage. This isn't weakness, it's elite strategy. When you don't threaten egos, people confide in you. They trust you more because they don't feel you're trying to dominate them. And that trust gives you the one thing louder than power. Influence, the kind that moves people without ever needing to be loud. Be the hand behind the curtain, not the face on the throne. Let others wear the crown while you own the kingdom. That's not manipulation, it's mastery. And those who master invisibility don't just win the game, they design it. Make power invisible and presence unreadable. The more people see you, the more they study you. And the more they study you, the more they prepare to destroy you. Visibility is a trap. When your moves are too clear, you become predictable. When your presence is too constant, you become ordinary. But when no one can fully read you, when your power is suspected but never confirmed, you become untouchable. Let others be loud, celebrated, and exposed. Let them race to be recognized while you remain calm, distant, and unreadable. That's the real power, when they can't tell if you're planning, watching, or already winning. Machiavelli understood that fear doesn't come from what people know. It comes from what they can't understand. Appear weak when you are strong. Disappear when they expect you to strike. Move silently. Speak rarely. Let your actions arrive like thunder after silence. The untouchable are not ghosts, but they are never where you expect. Their presence is a question mark, not a target, because once people figure you out, they begin mapping your weaknesses. But if they can't see your full shape, they can't strike what they don't understand. In this world, the less they know about you, the more power you hold over them. Control the game without ever playing all your cards. True masters never reveal their full hand. They win not by showing strength, but by hiding just enough to stay underestimated. In a world that celebrates exposure, the most powerful move is to withhold. Let them think you're not watching. Let them believe you're not prepared. Then, when it matters, reveal only what's necessary to shift the entire game. Control isn't about domination. It's about subtle manipulation of outcomes. Guide the board without sitting at the table. Let others believe they're making the decisions, while you shape the options they choose from. That's not trickery. That's mastery. Don't rush to be understood. Don't beg to be seen. Let your actions speak when the timing is perfect. Let your quiet presence raise questions. Because confusion is power. Uncertainty is control. When people can't predict your next move, they move more carefully. And in that hesitation, you gain the edge. Be the strategist who watches from a distance, who shapes from behind the curtain. The one whose silence creates tension, whose absence commands respect. Never play every card. Always leave them wondering what else you're capable of. Because the moment they think they've figured you out is the moment you win. Life lesson. Power is perception and silence is strategy. In a world where appearances shape outcomes and loyalty is often transactional, the greatest advantage you can possess is control of your image, your emotions, and your access. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be the most powerful. In fact, true influence comes from being unreadable, strategic, and emotionally disciplined. Don't share every thought. Don't expose every wound. What others don't know, they can't exploit. Instead of seeking to be liked, aim to be respected. Instead of proving your worth, preserve your mystery. Power isn't always about domination. It's about knowing when to speak, when to act, and when to disappear. Not to hide, but to protect your peace and move unseen. This isn't about becoming cold, it's about becoming calculated. Not heartless, but harder to hurt. In a society that rewards oversharing, restraint is your shield. In relationships, build alliances, not dependencies. And above all, never hand someone the blueprint to break you. Play the long game. Let others fight for attention while you quietly build power in the shadows. Because the one who is silent, self-possessed, and underestimated is often the one who wins the war before it's ever declared.